What's up, everyone? Aaron Schatz here, Editor-in-Chief of ASE Publishing, and today we'll be looking at the Actiontec dual-band wireless network extender kit with Moca adapter. This is review ID 45337. You can check out this and all our reviews by going to www.aselabs.com. And since you're watching this video right now, hit that subscribe button, and you'll be informed of all our videos when we post them. So let's get right down into this review. Here we have the Actiontec wireless bridge, and here's the Moca adapter. They're both Moca. Moca means multimedia over coax. So think of like Ethernet, coax, same network. These are both bridges. So even though you can use them basically to bridge anything, this is the wireless adapter as well. Let's see what's included in the kit. You get an AC adapter for each device, 2 coax splitters, which are actually branded Verizon because Actiontec provides all their routers and such. So if you have FiOS service, look at your router, it's probably an Actiontec. 2 Ethernet cables, 2 coax cables, and a stand to put this thing on. Remember, this is a bridge, it's not a router. So basically you have these 2 independent units. They both can act alone. They don't need anything else. This one has a single Ethernet port, and it has coax in and coax out for your TV or set-top box. Basically how Actiontec is saying this should work is you plug in Ethernet cable from your router into this device and then plug coax into this, and then you use this to extend your wireless network, and you also get to have 2 Ethernet ports out of this as well. This is gigabit. Honestly, it doesn't matter if it's gigabit or not, because if you're using this, Moca itself is slower than gigabit, so it doesn't really matter. But you know what? It's cool because you don't have to use it in that way. You don't have to plug this end into your router. How I'm using it is very different. So I have an N router already, and all I wanted to do was extend the wireless footprint. So I basically have Ethernet running in my house already. I connected the Ethernet coming out of there onto this first floor of my house and plugged Ethernet into here. And then I use this to actually make a Moca network bridge, because basically I have set-top boxes that require Moca. So that's what this does, and it also allowed me to have extra wireless network support on the second layer of my house, which is good because if this is in the basement, you're talking about first and second level. You're not getting good wireless on the second level if it's got to go through 2 levels of the house. And then what I did on this one is I had an IP cam that was wired only. And I connected it to coax, and then since the IP cam only takes Ethernet, that's what I use this for. So it's actually pretty cool. You can do anything you really want to because these are both just bridges. And that's the important part. They're both just bridging different types of networks together. The AC adapters that you get they're actually the same AC adapter if you read the model numbers. But what's weird about it is the actual ends. I probably should have done this before. The actual ends are different though, even though it's the same AC adapter. And I have no idea the reason why, but all I know is this green one plugs into this big unit, and this black tipped one plugs into this one. I don't know why they're just not the same cable. It would just make it easier, but it's just not. But everything about these are the same. Model's the same, input output's the same, everything's the same. It's just one of these weird things that you just don't know why it was done. I want to reiterate that this is not a router. So if you don't have a router on your network, don't expect this to do much except just bridge nothing. You need to have a device on your network that's handing out DHCP addresses and all that kind of good stuff. So if you're at home and you have a router already, this is great. It's a network extender, right? So not only will it extend your network over coax and additional wireless, you get this unit too, so you can actually plug this in to another coax connection and then get a wired port out of it. So let's say, one of the biggest problems when you're actually like doing video gaming and stuff, let's say you have an Xbox or a PlayStation or whatever, and you're using a wireless adapter for it, and it drops constantly and stuff. This is great for this. So you basically plug this or this one into the router, plug it into coax, use the other end, and plug this into your PlayStation or whatever game console you have. And this way you have a wired connection. You're not going to worry about wireless dropouts or anything and latency issues. It's great. It handles a lot of use cases. One of the interesting things about this is you'll notice that there's things for 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz indicator lights. This can actually do independent networks. I mean, it's going to be on the same, sub-network itself, but you can have independent 2.4 gigahertz networks and an independent 5 gigahertz networks. Totally different passwords, totally different SSIDs. So it's pretty cool if you want to utilize 5 gigahertz for some devices, utilize 2.4 for other devices, and it's just a really interesting way to go about this, and I like it too. I like having independent networks because some of my devices can connect to 5 gigahertz and some can't. So I can actually increase the availability of bandwidth around, because bandwidth is limited, and I mean bandwidth meaning actual frequency. The wireless extender supports A, B, G, and wireless connections. It supports gigabit Ethernet, and it supports multimedia over coax, the slower version, not the 2.0 version. So your gigabit Ethernet port's kind of useless because this coax connection will probably max out around 175 megabits per second, and yeah, gigabit's kind of meaningless on this, but it doesn't matter because it's better than fast Ethernet, so you get a slight speed boost if you actually need it. And over N, gigabit will help if you're not using the coax directly to connect to any devices. So, fairly good stuff in here. It uses MIMO for the N antennas, 2x2 array, so it should be, 300 megabits or a little bit over. So I want to reposition the camera right now. I want to show you exactly how the setup program works. It looks just like a router setup program, but it's not a router. So let's go on the computer right now. Here's the login page for the Actiontec wireless bridge and Moca adapters, and you can see that the IP address is being assigned by my network's DHCP server. If you actually connected this to a network that doesn't have DHCP, the default address would be 192.168.99.254, and you have to connect to that either through the Ethernet cable, or you can connect wirelessly, but you have to set a manual IP address since this is not a DHCP server itself. So remember, this is just a bridge for wireless and a bridge over Moca. Default name and password, admin, admin. And here is the status page. It's the front page when you come in. You can see that I have two networks running, one 5 gigahertz, one 2.4 gigahertz. They are different network names. You can see I have a bunch of devices connected to it that it has seen, and there's other ones that it has not seen yet, so good for that. Let's go into wireless setup for right now. So you can see my two networks right here, and I can edit them or do whatever. Basic setup, pretty standard stuff. Now I'm not going to scroll down too much because the password's going to show in plain text, which I don't really like that much. I'll show you in pictures in the review, so check out the text review and see the pictures of this page. But one of the caveats is don't log into this control panel page and then scroll all the way down because it's going to show your passwords in plain text. So wireless security, let's scroll down here. Security settings, right? WPA2, right? And it might show your password, so I'm not going to scroll all the way down there as either. And you got, you can have multiple SSDs and such if you want to enable that. Advanced wireless setup. You actually get a lot of options with this bridge, and it's pretty interesting if you want to actually go in and tinker with it. So let's go into the Moca setup. Moca, this you shouldn't even need to touch this. It's basically, oh, okay, Moca, yes, great. Plug in, plug the other thing in, good to go. And by the way, all the set-top boxes for Fios work with this as well. So really, for Moca, you just plug it in and go. There's no setup. Let's go to advanced setup. Now, this really does nothing, this auto configure checkbox. See, I want it to have a static IP address, but what I heard from Actiontec is this doesn't actually matter. This would only matter if I unplugged the DHCP server from the network, and then this would assign a static IP. If this detects a DHCP server on the network, it just grabs a dynamic IP address, which is actually fine because this is just a bridge after all. So once it's set up, you shouldn't even have to worry about it. You can reboot it from here, change your password, normal stuff here. You can factory default settings. You can restore firmwares. It's got actual backup firmware and an active firmware, so that's pretty cool. And here's where you update the firmware. So it's pretty much like a router except without the router stuff. So fairly standard stuff here. You have your full wireless setup, and for Moca, you just basically plug it into your coax, and that's basically it. ASE Publishing would like to thank Actiontec for sending this product for review. If you want to purchase this product, check out the text review for links. For ASE Labs and ASE Publishing, I'm Aaron Schatz, and thanks for watching. By the way, have you hit that subscribe button yet? Because if you haven't, you really should right now. There's no reason not to. You get new content, and you might get some other cool stuff that happens, in your inbox or whatever. But I make no assumption for that for you. Just hit that subscribe button, do us all a favor, and you'll stop me from blabbing on. Thanks for watching.